Okay, let's start with a mental image. I want you to picture it. You're standing right in the middle of WHX Dubai. It's just sensory overload.
Total overload.
You've got these huge LED screens, the noise of 1,000 conversations in, I don't know, 12 languages. You see manufacturers from Germany, China, Korea, the US. I mean, it's the Olympics of global trade.
It really is.
And you're standing there just scanning the badges of people rushing past. You see plenty of people. But if you're looking specifically for buyers from Latin America,
Yeah.
it's quiet.
It is noticeably quiet. You know, if you were judging the health of the Latin American market just by the foot traffic in those aisles, you'd think the entire continent had just checked out. You'd think the market was dead.
And that right there is the big misconception we really need to unpack today. Because here at IBC Group, we see that whole scenario play out completely differently than almost anyone else in that building. Most global companies, they see those empty aisles, the lack of Latin American attendees, and they make a really dangerous assumption. They think the market's asleep.
Right.
But we know, I mean, this is our DNA, it's our day-to-day reality. We know that market is wide awake.
It's hyper awake. It just isn't physically standing in Dubai. And that distinction, I mean, that's everything, is the difference between missing a massive revenue stream and actually capturing it.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to open up the IBC Group playbook. We're going to explain why that physical absence doesn't mean market absence and, more importantly, how we're positioned to bridge that very specific gap.
Exactly. We're not guessing here. This isn't theoretical for us. The secret sauce, if you want to call it that, is understanding that what looks like a void to everyone else, that empty aisle, is actually a massive opportunity.
It's an arbitrage opportunity. We see value where everyone else just sees a vacuum.
That's a great way to put it.
So let's get into the reality of the Latin American buyer first. Because there's this kind of myth that maybe they just aren't interested in global innovation or they aren't serious enough to make the trip to the UAE. But that's a really superficial reading, isn't it?
Oh, it's completely wrong. It's not a lack of interest. It's a surplus of strategy. You have to put yourself in the shoes of a major distributor in, say, Bogota or São Paulo.
Right.
We say this internally all the time. Latin America doesn't travel en masse to distant fairs. And that isn't a knock on their work ethic. It's just a real pragmatic reading of market logistics.
It's a resource calculation. It's just pure math.
Pure math, exactly. Latin American buyers are incredibly active.
Yeah.
But they are ruthless about where they spend their travel budget. And this is the big one, their time. They go where the ROI is crystal clear.
And immediate.
And immediate. They go where the logistics are simpler, where the cultural and commercial context just feels familiar.
Which explains why a fair like Hospitalar in Brazil, it's packed. You can barely move down the aisles there.
Hospitalar is a zoo in the best possible way. It's vibrant, it's loud. You can feel the business happening in real time. Or look at the regional events in Colombia, in Mexico, and of course the big hub, Miami.
Oh yeah, Miami.
You go to a medical trade event in Miami, and the Latin American presence is overwhelming. What? It's accessible. It's a direct flight. Culturally, it feels like home turf.
And they aren't just there to window shop. They're not collecting brochures.
No way. They are buying, they're negotiating huge contracts, signing exclusive distribution agreements. They're building relationships. The checkbooks are open in Miami because the environment just makes it easy.
So the activity is there. It's just happening where it's most efficient for them.
Correct. But now, shift that lens back to WHX Dubai. That's a different beast entirely. It's not that they don't care about what's happening in Dubai. Of course they do. It's just that the percentage of buyers who can physically justify that trip is naturally so much smaller.
It's the distance, the cost, the time zones. I mean, you're talking about a 14, 20-hour journey for some of these folks.
It's all of that. It's a pure resource allocation problem. If you're a high-volume distributor in Chile, do you send your team to Dubai for a week, costing, $15,000 plus lost time? Or do you send them to 3 regional fairs for the same price, where they speak the language and they know all the players?
It's a no-brainer.
It is. So only a fraction of the market physically shows up. And this leads us to what we call the manufacturer's error.
The manufacturer's error, I see this play out every single time, and it's almost painful to watch. Walk us through it.
It is painful. It's a tragedy of perspective, really. You have this global manufacturers, let's say they're based in Europe or Asia, and they're standing in their expensive booth in Dubai.
They've invested a ton to be there.
A ton. Booth fees, shipping, travel, hotels, just a huge line item on their budget. They're standing there desperate for leads. They have to justify that spend. So they're looking at the traffic. They see buyers from the Middle East, of course, from India, Europe, parts of Africa, but they don't see the Latin Americans. So they decide, well, I guess that market isn't relevant right now.
They confuse low physical presence with low commercial relevance.
That is the fatal mistake. Because while that manufacturer is distracted by the people physically standing in front of them, Latin America is still a hungry, demanding, importing market. They're just doing it remotely.
It's the invisible market.
It is. From our perspective at IBC Group, we see this with total clarity. We know that while everyone else is obsessing over scanning badges in Dubai, the real decision makers are sitting in their offices in Lima or Santiago.
And they're making decisions right now.
Right now, they're importing, they're moving millions of dollars of product. They just aren't doing it in a hallway in the Dubai Exhibition Center. There are massive distributors who never step foot on a plane to the UAE, but are importing incredible volumes.
And this creates a huge disconnect, doesn't it? The manufacturer is in Dubai, waiting for a handshake. The buyer is in Buenos Aires, waiting for a proposal. The deal just dies in that gap.
A massive disconnect, and that gap is where we live. That's our opportunity. These invisible players, they need interlocutors. They don't need another brochure in the mail. They need someone who actually gets how the region functions.
A translator, not just of language, but of business reality.
Yes, exactly.
Which brings us to our role, because when IBC Group goes to Dubai, we aren't going with the same mindset as those other manufacturers, just hoping to get lucky.
Not at all. And this is the crucial distinction. We are not going to Dubai to find Latin America.
Yeah.
If you go to Dubai hoping to stumble upon a new LATAM client in the aisles, you're playing the lottery.
And you will probably lose.
You'll lose. We go to Dubai to represent Latin America, to lead it.
I love that framing. We aren't searching, we are leading. Because we already know what everyone is. We're not looking for a needle in a haystack. We already have the needle.
We arrive with the map. Think about the advantage it gives us. You've got a manufacturer from, say, South Korea trying to break in. They land in Dubai and start looking for a badge that says Brazil.
Good luck.
We land in Dubai with a pre-existing, fully vetted database of the top-tier distributors in Brazil. We aren't exploring, we are improvising.
And it's more than just a list of names, it's the quality of the relationships, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's about deep vetting. We already work with the best. We understand the regulatory hurdles. And let's be honest, that landscape can be a nightmare. You have Anvisa in Brazil, Invima in Colombia. Every country has its own gatekeepers.
And a handshake in Dubai means absolutely nothing if you can't get past Invima. It's a deal that will die in paperwork 6 months from now. I've seen it happen.
So many times. We know the commercial dynamics, the payment terms, the cultural nuances. We know selling in Argentina is a totally different financial sport than selling in Panama. That manufacturer in Dubai, they don't know that. We do.
And that's why they trust our structure. They know we're not just some intermediary forwarding emails.
Right. We are the bridge. So we walk into that fair with a clear picture of a market that everyone else finds completely opaque. We offer security.
And speaking of walking into the fair, we have to talk about Perla McLiberty. Her presence there isn't just symbolic, it's a huge part of the strategy.
It's central to it. Perla's presence in Dubai is a statement of intent. When she is there, it's not just attendance, it is authority. It signals to everyone that we're bringing real, on-the-ground knowledge of the terrain.
It's the difference between a salesperson and a leader.
Precisely. When Perla talks to a manufacturer, she isn't guessing about what might sell in Colombia. She knows. That's what leading the market means, very concrete. It means knowing which distributors are worth the effort and which are just talk.
And that's huge, because at a trade show, everyone claims they're the biggest player back home.
Everyone's number one. Everyone has national coverage. But we know who actually pays on time. We know who has the logistics network for cold chain. We know which countries are stagnant and which are about to explode with growth.
You can't figure that out in a 10-minute conversation at a booth.
No. That knowledge is built over years of regional work. You can't improvise it.
So, in a way, we're the curator for both sides. For the manufacturer, we filter out the noise. And for Latin America, we bring back only the best of what Dubai has to offer.
Which brings us to an idea that's really central to our philosophy, the natural filter.
Yes, let's unpack that. Because usually, distance is seen as a barrier, a bad thing. But you see it differently.
We see it as an asset. The distance to Dubai, the difficulty, it acts as a natural filter. It filters out the casual players. It filters out the noise. Because it's hard to get to, and because it's hard to understand the market from so far away, it creates a protected space for those of us who do understand it.
It clears the playing field. It gets rid of the amateurs.
It does. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? If every Latin American buyer were physically in Dubai, our value proposition would be different. But because they aren't, our position as the connector becomes incredibly powerful.
We're not just intermediaries. I hate that word. It sounds so passive.
I hate it too. We're the operating system. That's a better way to put it. We're the OS that makes the connection work. We can turn a simple conversation at a booth into a real commercial operation months later.
And that's the hard part. Anyone can swap business cards.
Anyone can. But converting that into a container arriving at a port in Valparaiso 6 months later, that takes the IBC structure.
It really flips the script on how you measure success at these events. Most people are counting, how many badges did I scan?
Right, the quantity game.
But we measure it by quality. How effectively did we represent the reality of our market and connect it to the right global innovation?
We're hunting with a rifle, not a net. We don't need to meet 1,000 people. We need to connect the right 5 innovations with the right 5 distribution channels that we already influence.
It makes you feel calm when you see those empty aisles, not panicked. We know where the real action is.
Exactly. We're calm because we have the data. We know that while that manufacturer is wringing their hands about the lack of Latin visitors, we're already setting up the deals. We're solving a problem they don't even fully realize they have.
They think they have a traffic problem.
And we know they have a connectivity problem. And we are the solution. That's the IBC advantage in a nutshell.
So let's wrap this up. If we summarize the IBC vision, it's about having confidence in our own reality versus, I guess, the optical illusion of the trade show floor.
That's a great way to put it. The optical illusion is, if you don't see them, they aren't there. The reality, our reality, is that Latin America participates selectively. Dubai isn't the epicenter of their physical presence. And that's okay. For us, it's better than okay. It's the foundation of our entire competitive advantage.
Because if they were all there, they wouldn't need us as much.
Exactly. Our presence there, with our structure, with Perla's leadership, it allows us to order and lead that market. We are there to translate global opportunity into regional results.
We are the bridge between that physically absent but commercially hyperactive Latin American market and the rest of the world.
Physically absent but commercially hyperactive. I like that. That should be on a t-shirt.
But seriously, that's the core of it. We don't need to discover Latin America at a trade show. We are it.
And for anyone listening, it's so important to get this context. When you see IBC Group at WHX Dubai, you are seeing the gateway to an entire continent that is otherwise invisible to most of the room.
That is the takeaway. We are the custodians of that opportunity. We hold the keys.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought on this. We've talked about the manufacturer's error, right? How they miss the market because they can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
But think about the flip side. Think about the exclusivity of the opportunities we are capturing right now simply because everyone else is too busy looking at badges.
That's a powerful thought. While they're all fighting over the scraps of who actually showed up, we're securing the feast that stayed home. That is a mic drop moment right there. The feast that stayed home. It just highlights the value of looking where others aren't.
It's good to have the map.
It certainly is. Thanks for breaking this down. It's always great to remind ourselves why we do what we do.
A pleasure. Now let's get back to it.
Absolutely. Until next time.